Welcome, welcome. Whether you're new to my world, whether you've been in my world, whether you are in Soul Up, a client, a new friend off Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is, welcome to this community. I'd love to hear, hello Amy, hello Shauna, hello Patsy, hello Brandy. I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. That would be beautiful to see where we are all over the world. Welcome. Okay, we are going to do what I always do. We're going to cast a circle of light specifying my core healing team in conjunction with Source Creator God and your beautiful souls and healing teams be present for this transmission where we talk about what is healing the hustle. What does it mean to heal the hustle? What is the hustle? And then I'm going to tell you some of my story, and we're going to download lots of beautiful alchemy, as always, into my containers of clarity and power and sovereignty and bliss and wonder and divinity frequencies as you remember who you are. We ask that all divine channels of communication be cleared, including but not limited to our clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, claircognizant, psychic, telepathic, transmedium, kundalini, sexual, and tantra channels, so you can access that innate wisdom. We ask that all four etheric bodies be taken up to the highest frequency available in this now moment. For this powerful, whenever you're watching this, today is a new moon in Taurus, all about manifesting your potentiality. If you're in the activation portal, which is another one of my communities that is filled with beautiful spiritual teachings, awakening, and activations, then you saw the new moon reading today. And it is a powerful day, a powerful portal for us to step through. And we want all four etheric bodies, mental, emotional, spiritual, and of course this dense physical body, to be activated to the highest frequency that is the most comfortable in this human vessel. Per each of your individual soul's guidance, we ask that the chakra systems inside and outside of the body be realigned, repaired, and even replaced so you can access those portals of power with more depth and those crystalline books of information that your soul has gifted you with over millennia. And as always, we give infinite gratitude to the one love, one light, Source Creator God, for all of us, and all of this is possible. Aho. All right. Let's see where everybody's from. Oklahoma City. Yeehaw, Southern girl. Upstate New York, hello, hello. Good afternoon to all. I'm so glad you're here, Brittany. Hello, Nikki. Love it, love it. Okay, so today I want to tell you, you've heard it before, but if you know, repetition causes remembrance, right? So you're going to hear some things you've heard before if you've been in my world for a while, and then other things might be new. And as always, our frequency is always going up. Our consciousness levels are always rising. So things that you've heard before might hit in a completely different way, right? So I want to start by sharing a little bit of my story so that you can kind of understand where I'm coming from and why this mission is so important to me. Hello from Canada, New England, British Columbia, yeah, Maine, hello, hello. Thank y'all. And as always in my containers, especially when I'm live or you're on a Zoom with me, if you're in Soul Up or whatever it is, I encourage you to be as engaged as possible, because when you are engaged and you're commenting and you're chatting and you're sharing your own experiences and you're resonating, you're anchoring in the codes even more, right? So I encourage you to be as engaged as possible, as guided. So, my story. For most of you that know, my hustle story started very young, out of survival. I had a very traumatic upbringing, lots of sexual abuse, lots of neglect, lots of abandonment, lots of trauma. And from a young age, I knew how to survive. I knew how to be independent. I knew how to take care of myself. I started making my own breakfast and getting myself ready at 4 years old. Probably earlier than that, but that's what I remember. And with that, I learned to survive. And I immediately went into take care of myself, which then led into hustle. 14 years old, got my first full-time job. 16, graduated high school, got out early so that I could be out on my own at 17. In the state of Texas, you could move out on your own at 17. And from then, it just hustle, hustle, hustle to survive, right? And that's how I lived a lot of my life. And up until 6 years ago at 33. And with that, I always knew how to take care of myself. I always knew how to hustle. I always knew how to grind. I always knew. But what I did know is that hustle was killing me. And for me, the definition of hustle is forcing, pushing, pulling, dragging, misaligned action to achieve an outcome. And for me, that outcome was money. For a very long time, money was my driver. External validation was my driver. Praise from other people was my driver. It was my ego was driving the seat, because the ego is what fuels the hustle. And when we're in that hustle, we're craving that external validation. We're craving the world and everything outside of ourselves, including money, to tell us that we're good enough, right? And at 33 years old, I made my first $1 million. And I remember looking around, and 33 is a magical number. If you know Yeshua's story at all, 33 is the Jesus number. And I looked around and I was like, okay, cool, we made $1 million. And I hustled, worked hard for that, right? Day in and day out. I was like, had this goal to be a millionaire. And when I got there, I was the unhappiest and unhealthiest I'd ever been in my entire life. And I remember thinking, if this is what success is, I don't want it. And there's got to be another way. And that is when my spiritual awakening happened. Again, I looked around. I was unhealthy. I was depressed. I was anxious. I literally was at the worst point in my adult life of going, this can't be it. And one night I was going to sleep, and I was very in tune as a little child in my spiritual journey. I was very in tune. I could see, hear, feel, know what I thought was everything. But I didn't have the spiritual support. I didn't have support at all. So I shut down those channels. And then at 33, one night laying in bed, it all became very clear. And a voice started talking to me. And this voice, and again, made my first $1 million, but looked around. I was diagnosed with neurological Lyme disease, which I no longer have because I know what it really was. I was drinking too much and just depressed. But I was a millionaire, right? So it was good. Ugh, everybody thought it was good. No. This voice started talking to me one night. And this voice said, and paraphrasing because it was a long night. This voice, which now I know is my soul, and it was my guides and source, of course, in conjunction always, was saying, it's time to stop fighting. It's time to lay down the armor. There's a different way that you get to do this. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. You deserve joy. You're worthy without all of this. Without all these people admiring you and telling you how good you are. Without the money in the bank. You're worthy. And there's a different way. And I say different because better is relative, right? And I just remember laying there going, first, what the hell is this voice? What's going on? But I was in a trance state. You deserve to enjoy your life. You deserve to just be happy and make a lot of money and make a big impact. But none of that matters if you're not happy. None of that matters if you don't feel love in your heart and gratitude in your heart every day. Right? And I woke up the next morning and I just knew. I knew things had to be different. I just had this deep knowing that things had to change and that I had to change. I had to change mind, body, soul, business. Because what I was doing, I was literally killing myself. And from that point forward, I woke up the next morning and I said, okay, what does that look like? And as I'm sharing this story, remind yourself that this gets to be, this is the path. This is what I teach when I teach Healing the Hustle. This is what I teach when, we're doing the work in Soul Up about mind, body, soul, business, alignment, the divine feminine awakening. I was functioning out of that wounded masculine hustle energy for 33 years. And it was time to lay that down. It was time to lay the control down. It was time to call all of my power back to me. And at the time, I didn't know what that looked like, but I knew certain steps. I audited my life and I said, I'm done working 16, 18-hour days. I've got to figure out who I am. I've got to figure out what I like. I've got to learn to love myself. And again, I didn't know what that meant, but I know there were certain steps. So I knew for a long time that I needed to quit drinking. I didn't drink till I was 21, but for 12 years, I was really good at it. And I knew that it wasn't serving me. So I said, I'm going to quit drinking alcohol. So I did. It's been over 5 years. I knew that I had to heal myself. I knew that whatever that voice was that was talking to me the night before, that there was a connection there that I wanted to develop. And again, this is a brief synopsis, right? And you're going to hear tons of this story, and we're going to dive so deep into this. And I wanted this first session to just kind of be where you get to know me a little bit more through my story. Because the hustle is very sneaky. In all accounts, the outside world, it looks like I had the perfect life, a beautiful family, lots of money, lots of travel, lots of success. But inside I was dying. And I knew that there had to be a shift. So I started looking at how I was leading my life and what I was doing. And the reason why a lot of people, don't commit to this journey until it is kind of the rock bottom energy is because the hustle is fueled by the ego, and the ego is fueled by external validation, and the external validation and the desire to be loved and admired is so great. The desire to have money and to be comfortable is so great in this world that for myself, I had to hit what was my rock bottom in order to change. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to get there, because I have coached and mentored many women who were on the verge of hitting rock bottom, and we were able to heal and help them transmute in a way that they didn't have to hit like what my rock bottom was or other people's rock bottom was. But there's this stirring in my soul and the stirring in the women that are attracted to my work that is like, there's got to be a different way. A way of peace, a way of love, a way of abundance from a place that you can be proud of. And so I took this journey, and that's when my spiritual awakening happened. And as I'm writing my book, Heal the Hustle, I realized that so much of healing the hustle, 100% for the women, 100% has to do with three things. Your self-discovery journey, discovering who you are and what you desire in life and what you want to create in life from a sovereign, pure place. The spiritual practices and the spiritual journey, what I call the soul up journey. Diving deep into activating your spiritual connection and activating your spiritual gifts, your psychic gifts, whatever you want to call it, so that you are in pure connection to your soul and to source and your guides, so that you are literally leading your life from the most sovereign, clear place that you can, without all of the fluff and the ego and all of this stuff. It doesn't mean we still don't do it. And then the divine feminine embodiment work. Because when you're in the hustle, you're in wounded masculine. And I love working with my own divine masculine energy and the divine masculine structure, support systems, everything that I have for my business. But for me, it was about awakening the divine feminine, the priestess incarnate that I am. And that so many of you are. But it comes from this stirring in your soul, this deep knowing that things get to be different, that you don't have to live in a state of fight or flight. Because a part of the divine feminine journey and healing part of this hustle is regulating and calming your central nervous system to create a baseline of peace. Because when you're in the hustle, you are like this. And you're in a constant state of restriction and constriction and anxiety and stress and twinge in your heart and knots in your stomach and aches and body pain and dis-ease in your body. And I want to be an example and a beacon of hope that that's not how it has to be. Right? Brandy, I remember watching when you started sharing about your shift. In fact, there is a picture you shared overlooking an infinity pool on an awakening vacation, and it was so impactful for me. Yes, that was in St. Lucia. The hustle is sneaky. The hustle is so sneaky. The external world will continue to try to tell us who we should be and what we should be and all of these kind of programs. And on the spiritual awakening journey, as you heal the hustle, it's a commitment. A lot of people won't do it because they're afraid of what's on the other side. If I slow down, if I get more intentional, if I get more conscious, what happens to the money that I'm making now? What happens to the followers? What happens to the impact? What happens to my friends? What happens to my family? What happens to me? And those are all valid questions. But that's why you have to be so committed to the change and the shift and the awakening, if you will, to heal the hustle. Because it's either you go out into the unknown of those questions with full faith in yourself, knowing that this is what's best for you, heart and soul and body and mind, or you continue on the hustle until truly those women that are attracted to my work, truly the universe will knock you upside the head until you don't have a choice. Until there is no other choice but to shift and to change and to evolve and to awaken and to grow. So it's a choice that you get to make, though. It's a choice that you get to make to say, this doesn't feel good. This $1 million, this $500 a month isn't worth my health, isn't worth my sanity, if I'm not making it from a place that feels good, that I can be proud of. Right? So as you embark and as we start to peel back the layers and what this container in particular and all of, again, my work in Soul Up, the activation portal, my clients, my mastermind, like all of that. And if you're interested in looking at any of that, you go to the guide section in this that shows all of my work, my body of work. But as we start to dissect this journey, and if you're on the cusp of healing that next layer of hustle, because there's always another layer of healing, you've got to ask yourself, am I committed to this? Am I committed to this ascension path? And something I want you to think about as you're always evolving and always tweaking, and I want to talk to you about the new moon energy in just a minute. It's like on your deathbed, if you zoom out and take yourself to your last day in this physical form, in this lifetime, what's going to matter to you? Because I can almost 100% guarantee that you're not going to say, I wish I would have worked those 2 extra hours. I wish I would have made another $1 million. I wish I would have had 10,000 more Instagram followers. You're going to say, I wish I would have spoke my truth more. I wish I would have allowed myself to be seen in all of my messy and beautiful and just talking and speaking about my truth and showcasing who I am for the world to see. I wish I would have spent more time with my children. I wish I would have taken better care of myself. I wish I would have rested more. I wish I would have played more. I wish I would have written that book. I wish I would have taught that class that I know would have changed those women's lives, but I was too scared at the time, thinking I wasn't worthy. When you zoom out like that, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow, what do you want to commit to on your journey? What are you going to commit to in your evolution? And in those things that you want to commit to, that's where the healing gets to start to take place. And so if you're here, I do this every few months, but I encourage you as a piece of homework. I want you to take an audit of your life. Mind, body, spiritual journey, business, family, money, community. Lay out all of these things and rate yourself 1 to 10. 1 being not great, 10 being the absolute best. And then you take the things with the lowest scores, and I want you to start dissecting the pieces of that don't feel good to you, or that you know could have some improvement. And then I want you to take the first thing that you want to start evaluating and healing. And then I want you to say, okay, I could start implementing this shift right now. And you do that for a week or two. And then you add in another shift and another shift. Don't rip 1,200 Band-Aids off at once. Start with one thing that you can start, because this is a journey. This is not, if you're in Soul Life, I talk about this all the time. I wish I could just give you an easy button to go, bloop, everything's healed and I'm perfect and everything's good. No, it's a journey you get to take. That's why it takes commitment and dedication. That's why the spiritual journey, the soul up journey, that awakening, that ascension path is so important, because that will continue to bring you back into who you are, what you want, your power and sovereignty. Because you can't do this work from here. Because this will always play games on you. This will tell you that hustle's better. This will tell you that money's more important than family. This will tell you that you need to work those extra hours. This will tell you to do more. This and this will remind you of who you are. Your value, your worth is not in what you do. It's who you be when you do, and it's in your beingness. So I want you to audit. If you feel like sharing it in this group, by all means, again, the more you anchor in these codes, you engage, the more you're going to feel the expansion. The more questions you're going to have for yourself and for me. We're going to do random live Q&As in here. We'll do some fun stuff. Again, this is just another way for me to make sure that my message and my mission is getting out here. Because I am on a mission to help the women of the world heal the hustle, awaken their divine feminine essence, activate their spiritual gifts, and truly come into mind, body, soul, business alignment in a way that you can be proud of when you lay your head on your pillow every day and that last day on your deathbed in 100 years. But those next 50, 60, 70 years aren't guaranteed. So what are you going to do today? What commitment are you going to make to yourself today? Not for me, not because I gave you homework and you want to be seen, but for you. What's your core values, your core beliefs about the life that you want to lead? We're going to have a lot of conversations in here. But I can tell you that at 39 years old, I feel like I'm just getting started, and this work just gets better and better and better, and this awakening just deepens and deepens. My divine feminine path opens up more and more, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. And it doesn't mean that I still don't have challenges. It doesn't mean that I haven't been through hell and back, even recently. but I'm so connected to my light and my power and my sovereignty that nothing will take me off this course. Who I was 6 years ago, hell, who I was 6 months ago is a completely different version of myself, an elevated version, higher timelines, higher access. But I'm radically committed and dedicated for myself first and foremost. If no one was to ever see what I do or who I be, I would be proud of who I am. Everything else is a bonus. My mission, my clients, Soul Up, the activation portal, my activations, my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, all of that impact is extra. I'm doing this for me because I deserve to be happy in this lifetime. I deserve to feel at peace. I deserve to know my truth. And so do you. So you get to decide what's the next piece of your evolution. The new moon today, again, if you're in the activation portal, if you're not in the activation portal, I highly suggest getting in there. It's only $22 a month. Cancel anytime. But the energy reading this morning is about manifesting your potentiality. But the energy coming onto this planet right now, if you saw some of my reels or TikToks, it is truly a shit or get off the pot energy. It is like time to stop making excuses. Time to get out of victim consciousness. Time to get out of woe is me. Your circumstances, past and current, should not dictate the forward momentum that you choose to create and who you choose to be. We can always choose the light. It's not easy, but we can always choose the light. It is a shit or get off the pot energy. And it's a new moon, which means fresh intentions. What are you intending from this day forward? What are you going to commit to from this day forward? Step through this portal with this homework, evaluating what needs to close and what needs to open and move forward to expand and to grow. Right? I appreciate y'all. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Again, stay tuned, stay in the loop. You'll get emails, you'll get posts in here. You're following me on all the things, I'm sure. You won't ever be out of the loop. Okay? I'm sending y'all so much love. Happy new moon. Happy welcome to this new community. Again, share your heart. Share with others. You'd be surprised at the friends you're going to make, the soul sisters you're going to make in this community if you just open yourself up. Sending you lots of love.